Twice a year, an entire country agrees to lie about what time it is. Everybody knows, nobody objects. On a Sunday morning in November, millions of people will look at a clock that says 7, decide that it is actually 6, and carry on with their lives. We call it daylight saving time. And here's the strange part, almost nobody likes it. In your entire life, you have never once heard a human being say, "I love changing the clocks." So, obvious question. If nobody wants it, why are we still doing it? There is an official answer, and it's coal. April 1916. Germany is 2 years into a war and running short of fuel. Somebody does the arithmetic. People are awake for hours after sunset, burning lamps, and asleep for hours after sunrise, wasting free light. So, move the clocks. Shift the whole country an hour earlier, and everyone gets up with the sun instead of a lamp. The coal stays in the ground. Britain copied it within weeks. America followed in 1918. It's a good story. And it is the entire reason, we are still doing this 110 years later. Quick correction, because you will hear this one everywhere. Benjamin Franklin did not invent daylight saving. He wrote a letter from Paris in 1784 pointing out that Parisians could save a fortune in candles by simply getting out of bed. He also suggested firing cannons in the streets to wake them up. He was joking. It was a satire about lazy aristocrats. 200 years later, we credited him with a policy. The man who actually meant it was an Englishman called William Willett. In 1907, he published a pamphlet complaining that people slept through the best hours of the summer morning. He'd noticed it while out riding at dawn past streets of closed curtains. He campaigned for it for the rest of his life. Parliament turned him down again and again. He died in 1915. Germany adopted it the following year. He never knew. So, does it actually work? This turns out to be surprisingly hard to test because you can't run a country twice. But in 2006, America accidentally ran the experiment anyway. Until then, most of Indiana had never changed its clocks. Then the whole state was required to, which handed researchers the thing they almost never get: the same people, the same houses, before and after. Residential electricity use went up, not down, up by around 1%. Because saving on light bulbs is the easy part, and the light bulb was never the expensive thing in your house. A dark morning wants heating. A bright evening wants air conditioning. You switch off a lamp and switch on a compressor. We have spent a century burning more energy in order to save energy. And it isn't free. An hour on a clock is a piece of paper. An hour in your body is not. Your body runs on its own clock, and that clock is set, mostly, by light hitting your eyes in the morning. Move the schedule, and the paper clock changes instantly. The one inside you takes days. Which is why, in the week after the spring change, doctors and traffic police both notice the same thing: a small, real, entirely predictable bump in heart attacks and road accidents. Everybody is slightly out of step with themselves. So, the answer's obvious: stop changing the clocks. Except, and this is where it gets genuinely interesting, there are two ways to stop, and they're opposites. You can lock the clocks on summertime, permanent daylight saving, bright evenings forever. Or you can lock them on wintertime, permanent standard time, bright mornings forever. You cannot have both. There is only so much daylight in a winter's day. All you are choosing is which end of it to be awake for. In July this year, the American House of Representatives voted 308 to 117 to lock the clocks on summertime. Sleep scientists have spent years asking for exactly the opposite. Their argument is that morning light is what sets your body clock, and permanent summertime means that in parts of the country, in deep winter, The sun would not come up until 8:30. Children would walk to school in the dark. And here's the part nobody mentions. America has already tried this. In 1974, during an oil crisis, it locked the clocks on permanent daylight saving. It was hugely popular. Then winter arrived, and within a year, they repealed it. Which brings us to the genuinely absurd bit. The sun does not move. It has never once consulted a clock. The amount of daylight you get tomorrow was decided by the tilt of a planet, and no vote in any parliament has ever changed it by a single second. You cannot save daylight. There is no jar. The only thing we have ever been able to change is the number we agree to point at while it happens. Twice a year, we all agree to lie about what time it is. And the argument was never really about clocks. It's about which hour of sunlight we're willing to get out of bed for. If we can all agree to change what time it is, what else are we just quietly agreeing about? Subscribe to Obvious Questions.